on the border of the solar system. In the midst of the cosmic abyss, a small world is hidden, surrounded by venomous glaciers and gloomy landscapes. A faint sun slowly moves across the dark sky. Its rays are unable to dissipate the twilight that has enveloped the frozen plain for centuries. Above its rugged horizon, a giant shadow remains motionless, covering the stars. Divided by countless abysmal fissures. A lifeless realm of stone and ice covered with an eternal sepulchral shadow. Hence its name is so fitting, Pluto, like the Greek deity Hades that rules the underworld. Let's get to know it better. Pluto is located about 40 astronomical units from the Sun and is a dark and challenging object to observe. We know that Pluto's radius is 1,188 kilometers, which means it is considerably smaller not only than all the planets in the solar system, but also than some of its satellites, including the Moon. This distant celestial body moves around the center of the solar system in a significantly elongated orbit, completing one revolution every 248 Earth years, according to numerous calculations. At the same time, observations of its motion have allowed for a precise measurement of its mass. It turned out to be only 1.30 times 10 to the 22 kilograms, or 18% of the mass of the Moon. Clearly, in terms of its characteristics, Pluto bears much resemblance to celestial bodies as small as Eris, Ceres, or Sedna. For this reason, it topped the list of dwarf planets in 2006. The extended and elongated trajectory of Pluto is the reason for its long orbital cycle. Only in 1989 did the planetoid pass its perihelion for the first time since its discovery, approaching the Sun at a distance of 29.7 astronomical units. Since then, this distance has been steadily increasing and will reach its maximum value in 2113. At that time, the dwarf planet will be near its aphelion, located 49.3 astronomical units from the center of our system. Therefore, Pluto is a very distant and dim space object. Due to this, it is impossible to observe it from Earth with the naked eye. Even in images taken with powerful telescopes like the Hubble Space Telescope. But we have great hopes for the Webb telescope. The dwarf planet appears as a hazy brown disk with no surface details. Of course, fully exploring a celestial body under such conditions is nearly impossible. To address this problem, an unmanned spacecraft called New Horizons was sent to Pluto in 2006. It spent 9.5 years traveling, providing us with detailed images of Jupiter along the way. And only in 2015 did the research probe finally reach its main goal of flying past Pluto. Unfortunately, it was not possible to fully photograph the surface of the dwarf planet due to the probe's special trajectory. The thing is, New Horizons did not enter orbit around Pluto but rather flew by it to be able to explore other objects. Before delving into the details of the relief on this celestial body, we must understand its internal structure according to the currently accepted model. At the center of Pluto, there is a massive core with a diameter of about 1,700 kilometers, consisting of a mix of various forms of icy water and different types of rocks. This core is surrounded by a 300 kilometers thick ice mantle, where poorly studied tectonic processes may be occurring. In turn, the mantle is covered by a crust that is a mix of frozen gases such as nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide. Some speculations suggest that Pluto's core could generate enough heat to melt part of the icy mantle, resulting in a very salty and caustic ocean containing a large amount of dissolved ammonia, hidden deep within the planetoid. At the same time, the surface temperature of the dwarf planet is very low, not exceeding 60 K or 213 degrees Celsius. Our journey through Pluto will begin with the most notable and best studied feature of its relief, the Tombaugh Regio. This vast territory is located in the equatorial zone of the planetoid and resembles a heart schematically drawn in shape. This resemblance formed the basis for the unofficial name of the region, known as the Heart of Pluto. Its size reaches 2,300 kilometers, implying that the plane covers approximately 1/4 of the area of the entire celestial body. The surface of the Tombaugh Regio is not homogeneous. In its western part lies the smooth and bright Sputnik Planitia, with a diameter of 1,492 kilometers. If we observe the elevation map, we can see that this region is a vast low plain covered with a thick layer of nitrogen ice, as well as solid carbon monoxide and methane. These substances are light-colored, causing some parts of the plane to reflect up to 90% of the incident light. There are virtually no craters here, indicating that this region was formed relatively recently in geological terms. According to the main hypothesis, the Sputnik Planitia was born about 100 million years ago when Pluto experienced a collision with a large celestial body. As a result, a massive impact crater was formed, which rapidly filled with the frozen contents of Pluto's hypothetical interior ocean. To the south, a deep basin can be seen surrounded by enormous icy and rocky ridges of multiple layers. It is believed to be the vent of an ancient cryovolcano, with the surrounding rock possibly being its numerous frozen ejecta. The eastern part of the Tombaugh Regio has a darker color and is covered with many craters, indicating that this region is much older than Sputnik Planitia. If we move east along the equator, we will see a chain of dark spots with a diameter of hundreds of kilometers. These objects are called maculae and have been named after dark deities from various cultures. For example, one of them is named Balrog Juntos. Together, they form a giant structure called the Fist of Steel, which spans the celestial body along the equator. The maculae are separated by tall mountain ranges, and their surface is marked by deep fissures reaching hundreds of kilometers in length. This is the moment for you to pause the video, leave us a like, and subscribe since you might be very excited at the end. Continuing north along the equator, we find the Lowell Regio, a vast valley that surrounds Pluto's North Pole. Surprisingly, this place is currently the most illuminated part of the celestial body's surface. This is because Pluto's axis of rotation has a very large tilt with respect to the plane of its orbit. So in its movement, the celestial body is turned toward the Sun by the North Pole. It is assumed that for this reason, the density of Pluto's atmosphere has increased in the last 30 years, despite the increasing distance from the star. Presumably, the Sun's rays evaporate the nitrogen ice that has settled at the pole, replenishing the gaseous envelope of the dwarf planet in its orbit. Pluto has several distinctive features compared to the planets in the solar system, besides the fact that its orbit has a remarkable inclination to the plane of the ecliptic. The planetoid constantly undergoes cyclic oscillations around a certain point due to the presence of a large satellite that exerts a gravitational effect. This satellite is named Charon, like the ferryman of mythology, and has a mass of 1.52 times 10 to the 21 kilograms, which is over 11% of Pluto's mass. As a result, both celestial bodies rotate around a single center of mass located between them. In this case, the objects are in mutual tidal locking and are constantly facing each other. On one side, unlike Pluto, the surface of its satellite is noticeably darker and shows abundant water ice mixed with methane and nitrogen only in some regions. Besides Charon, there are several other satellites, but they are all much smaller and have an irregular shape. All these celestial bodies are primarily formed of water ice and are likely to have been captured by Pluto's gravity in the Kuiper Belt. Unfortunately, a significant part of Charon could not be captured by the cameras of the New Horizons probe. The prevailing hypothesis currently is that the nitrogen and methane escaping from Pluto's atmosphere were captured by Charon's gravity and settled at its poles under the influence of ultraviolet radiation. They turned into tholins and gradually concentrated in the ice of this celestial body. This assumption needs to be tested, which will be the objective of future missions. Charon, in many ways, remains a mystery to us as its investigation is just beginning. Despite the fact that the Pluto-Charon system is undoubtedly one of the most intriguing structures in the solar system, it is still not well understood. Unfortunately, the New Horizons probe left its vicinity a long time ago, and the celestial bodies themselves are rapidly moving away from us, taking their secrets with them. Currently, the research probe is at a distance of over 50 astronomical units from Earth and continues to send us rare but extremely important information. Around the year 2029 or 2030, all its systems will finally fail, and the device will be completely left to its own devices in the middle of space. Start Seekers, here concludes our fascinating journey. We enjoyed your company. Please support our growth to develop more interesting content. So don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Recommend our channel to your friends and share our videos. See you next time.